West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
It's 9 a.m. in the Mile High City on this Thursday, October 16th, 2025. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned in to the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, typically along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights from the right, left, and center. Bill's out this week. He'll be back Monday live in studio with us as the award-winning journalist, five-time Edward R. Murrow Award winner, Vic Vela. Vic's a big Broncos fan. How are they going to do this weekend?
By the way, I think it's in my contract that you have to say
every time
award-winning journalist every time you say.
Dude, I'm your hype man.
If only if only the coffee shop.
When you walk in, I'm gonna. They used to do this with Kings. You just blow a little trumpet anytime you walked in.
Hey, no Kings, no Kings, Jeff.
Right.
Broncos. I'm a huge Bronco. I mean, come on. My dad loves to tell stories of because he had season tickets back in the 60s and 70s. And, he would tell stories about being at the AFC Championship game in 1978, Broncos, Raiders, John Madden on the sideline. And he would talk about walking to his seats in the south stands and everyone stomping their feet. And it sounds like he's going to war.
Yes.
I love that. But yeah, Broncos,
that place used to shake.
And everyone's freaking out over the Broncos, man. Look, the Broncos were in a tough spot this past week for a few reasons. One, they're coming off an emotional win, the biggest win in Sean Payton's, tenure. There's bound to be a letdown after beating the Super Bowl champions on their turf on the other side of the country. And then you take that and you're going to London, where games are low scoring and sloppy because nobody's awake, no one knows what time it is.
And that you said that happens regularly, right? Like all the games they do over in London tend to be low. Now, Blake, do we have Blake Olson? I'm going to bring Blake in a little earlier. Guys,
yeah, Hey, guys.
I don't think that the NFL should be doing these international games. I think they're stupid.
It's rough.
Guys, what do you think?
Absolutely not.
I mean, they're rough, man.
No debate here. We found something we're all agreeing on today.
Yeah.
The ultra right, the right, and the in the middle of the road here with Vic. We're all agreeing no more international games.
It's cheating the fans.
I agree with
cheating the players
fans.
too. Poor Denver.
I don't care about the players. They make too much money anyway. They make what they make what they're worth what they're paid, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
But it cheats the fans. It's another game that's away from their home stadium.
Yeah.
And, regular people can't go to the game anyway. Like in 1978, when you said I was going in and out, you said your dad went to that game, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
AFC Championship game, 1978.
That's the same. Yep. No doubt. I was at that one. And I was at
were you working it?
One the week before that. My uncle who lives by the Velas, he had a Northeast stand ticket, and we all shared it. Tickets, we all shared it and experienced that game. But that now they price the regular people out of the game. So. Yeah. That's what I feel.
Blake, you're so right,
Keep
man.
it here.
There's very much a wine. There's a lot more. The game is more tailored to families and wine consumers more than beer drinkers these days, right? And so the old rowdiness from the old Mile High Stadium, man, I remember I was like a 7-year-old kid in the mid-'80s ducking bottles that were being thrown back and forth between fans during the Broncos Raiders games. It's like it is way sanitized nowadays.
Oh, no doubt. The South stands were out of control.
I think that's part of your bio, man. Vic Vela from the South Stands.
The South Stands. That's exactly right.
So they had tickets in the South Stands?
Yeah, absolutely.
They had tickets in the South Stands?
It was
that's awesome.
wild.
That is awesome.
Wild. I learned so many new words as a kid.
Yeah. Those flowery words.
So, guys, I worked out with a former NFL player this last weekend, and I've been sore for 5 days. He kicked my butt. Just kicked my butt. He offered this thing at the gym, like, hey, come work out with an NFL player. I'm like, that sounds awesome. Former NFL player. And I can't walk.
That's awesome.
So sore. So those guys are unicorns. Unicorns. All right. Well, speaking of Blake Olson, let's get to news and comment with Mr. Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Good Thursday morning, 54 and sunny. It is beautiful outside. Expecting a high of 70 today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, House Speaker Mike Johnson says ending the ongoing government shutdown, the Schumer shutdown, is in the hands of Democratic lawmakers.
And so today marks yet another day of American families feeling the very real personal and economic strain of this reckless decision that our Democrat colleagues keep making. They want the United States government to remain closed, and they seem not to care about the pain that it's causing.
Yes, sir. The Senate is set to vote again on a spending measure. It'll be the 10th time lawmakers have attempted to pass legislation that's Republican-backed and has already made it through the House. The lefties don't want this to end. They want chaos and craziness this weekend for King's Day. Globalists will provide the signs and bags of cement. Johnson on the CNN programming last night.
I didn't see it. Many of you saw it. CNN hosts the first socialist town hall where Bernie Sanders and AOC said the quiet parts out loud. They don't know what they want to end the shutdown. They couldn't provide a single viable solution for the mess that they themselves have gleefully created. And by the way, those are the real leaders of the Democrat Party. We all know it. AOC and Bernie. Good luck with that. And amid all that, Chuck Schumer is actually bragging that every day gets better for his party. As you know, that is his words, not ours.
And they couldn't answer any of these questions. But Rohan Naval, a student, could.
How do you think this shutdown reflects on Chuck Schumer's leadership?
Bernie Sanders.
Well, I think it reflects more on Mike Johnson's leadership and President Trump's leadership. This is a leadership which said it's okay to give well, how do you feel? You tell me. Think it's a good idea to give $1 trillion in tax breaks to the richest people in the country and then make massive cuts to health care for working class people?
I think Chuck Schumer has voted for continuing resolutions 13 times in the last 4 years, and he has the opportunity to vote for one again, but he's refusing to come to the table.
Well, I think...
Bottom line, he's smarter than Bernie. That's the bottom line.
Police have arrested dude, I'm watching Mondami as well, and it's amazing to me that the progressives and socialists just believe they have this entitled right to other people's money.
I know.
Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and Zuckerberg, all those people. Okay, you may not agree with them, but you have every right not to use their services. You have every right not to give money to Jeff Bezos and Amazon. That's not the same with the government. You have no right to deny not giving them money. If they want it, they're going to come and they're going to take it. And so when I hear Bernie Sanders go, tax cuts for billionaires while people don't get health care, I'm like, but I'm sorry, Bernie, you have no right to just go take other people's money. That's called theft.
Hello.
It's called theft.
Yes.
In any other capacity, it's called theft.
Yes.
Sorry. I get worked up. These guys, they build their entire careers on believing they can take from other people and distribute it, that there's somehow some Robin Hood out there.
Right. and he's filthy rich. Well, go ahead and give it away, Bernie. He has like 3 or 4 houses, whatever.
And under Obamacare, you could provide health care for 2 people with selling those houses. So expensive.
Great point. Exactly. He's always concerned about what they're going to do with our money. Police have arrested a juvenile suspect who allegedly made a threat against Arvada's Ralston Valley High School last month. Arvada Police Detective Dave Snelling.
These threats were specific in a post with a firearm, a rifle, some bullets, and then an overlay of saying basically a threat to Ralston Valley High School specifically.
Police arrested the suspect on Tuesday after a month-long investigation that included help from the FBI. It was a current Ralston Valley student. Authorities were able to track the suspect's searches following hundreds of safe-to-tell reports related to the social media threat that happened right after the Evergreen shooting. DJT says he has authorized the CIA to take action in Venezuela. Trump confirmed the news on Wednesday and was asked by reporters if the CIA had been given the green light to take out Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. He refused to answer. California governor candidate Betty Yee, she says that she supports transgender athletes participating in women's sports. So isn't that sweet? That means males and men and girls in women's sports. Fool.
Yee, a Democrat and former state controller, also says she is open to having athletes of all gender identities compete in the same category in certain events at the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. She calls the possible creation of gender-neutral categories a conversation worth having. She does not have the same stance on the issue as Governor Gavin Newsom, who has called trans athletes' inclusion in women's sports deeply unfair. I'm Daniel Martindale.
Oh, God, what is wrong with these people? The reporter of the week from Lindell TV.
These threats were specific.
Wait a minute. Let's get this from Lindell TV.
Congresswoman Pelosi, are you at all concerned that the new January 6th committee will find you liable for that day? Are you at all concerned about the new January 6th committee finding you liable for that day? Why did you refuse the National Guard on January 6th?
Shut up. I did not refuse the National Guard. The president didn't send it. Why are you coming here with Republican talking points as if you're a serious journalist?
The American people want to know. We still have questions. Thank you.
That's right. Absolutely. She almost lost her teeth when she said shut up. Blue Jays over the Mariners in Game 3 of the ALCS, 13-4, the final. And we have football tonight. Bengals play host to the Steelers. 53 in Castle Rock, 52 in Louisville, and 54 in Denver. Jeff and Vic Vela continue. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
It'll be a bit cooler as we roll through the next few days, as temperatures here in Denver will stay comfortable, but staying in the 60s. Sunny to partly sunny, clear tonight, lows upper 30s, mid-60s Friday, upper 30s Friday night, low to mid-60s, a little bit brisk and breezy on Saturday. Sunday will bring rebounding temperatures back to the 70s. Another cold front will move in Monday and Tuesday, cooling us off, and late Monday into Monday night, a chance of showers. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Bill's out this week. Vic Vela, 5-time award-winning, Edward R. Murrow award-winning journalist, plus a whole bunch of other awards. You're like, you're a Colorado radio journalist legend joining us live in studio. You've been going now for 3 hours on live radio. It's probably been a while since you've done that long of live radio, right?
Yes.
Like, what I don't tell people is, like, you have to be on. Like, I can't just, like, check out and scroll and surf. Like, I'm like, we're on. Debate's on. Tony's calling in. He wants the Epstein files released. So text messages coming in on the football stuff. Good point on the overseas football games. If we wanted to watch Manchester United, you fly to Europe. Everybody understands that. If you want to watch football, come over here. 5090 texting in. The day they started serving sushi at football games is the day football died.
Right on, whoever that was. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Or put swimming pools in baseball stadiums. I mean,
They
what are
have
we doing?
those?
Yeah.
I didn't know they have swimming. Have you ever been to a banana ball game?
I haven't, but they're
Those
wildly
look fun.
popular, man.
Super fun, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, they're like the Globetrotters, back when the Globetrotters were a fun thing.
3377 saying, hey, I don't want to hear about the Broncos players whining regarding jet lag. Trump was twice their age, traveling all over the world, getting deals done. Remarkable. So, speaking of big things coming from Washington, D.C., Associated Press reporting, Supreme Court seems inclined to limit race-based electoral districts under the Voting Rights Act. Gets a little complicated. There's a 2.5-hour oral argument that took place yesterday. But bottom line, one side saying you're relying too much on race with regards to congressional districts. Other side saying, no, it's important factor to contribute when it comes to these congressional districts. And I kind of see arguments on both sides with regards to how we're going to draw our districts, because you have to pick something to essentially separate people out into different districts. Aurora is different than Elizabeth, where I live.
Yeah.
So should we be tossed into the same district? We have totally different lives in many cases. We have sometimes more cows than we have people in some of these districts, and you want to lump them in with cities that are just dealing with totally different things. So Colorado comes up with this independent redistricting committee. You have 4 members of Congress from one party, 4 from another. Meanwhile, Colorado votes deep blue. So does it actually reflect the state? What do you think of all this gerrymandering?
I covered that when I was a reporter at the Capitol back in the day, when it was the Democratic House Leader Ferrandino, the House Speaker, and Frank McNulty, the Republican leader. And, they saw that at the time, elections in Colorado were pretty close. It was very purple, right? Not too long ago. A lot of purple districts, and we'd see presidential candidates come, and actually campaign here. It's a novel. But then, so they're like, let's create every time we try and write a map, it's always partisan, and it ends up in courts. Let's just stop that and create an independent commission. And I think a lot of Democrats are regretting doing that because of the exact same thing that you said, which is this is a overwhelmingly blue state. It has not been competitive in a decade. Long time, and yet there's an equal number of representatives. And so during this whole debate now that's been going on with gerrymandered districts, where Texas, had wanted to add more seats, now the question is, how do Democrats counter that, right? Do blue states then, like California, then say, all right, we're going to do the same thing and just create a bunch of seats for our guys, right? And now you mentioned the Supreme Court. Whatever your views are on the Voting Rights Act, it's reasonable to discuss those, and it certainly looks like the Supreme Court is at least going to weaken that law. And I think the bigger issue, though, Jeff, is how we gerrymander these districts, because I'm a firm believer that gerrymandering is what's caused so much poison in our politics. You are, forever installing a system where Congress is full of people who are either extreme right or extreme left, right? And pretty soon there will be no more point in voting in general elections, because all the contests are going to be decided in the primaries. And what happens in the primaries? Democrats try to appease their most liberal base, and Republicans try to appease their most conservative base. And so pretty soon all the moderates, all the people who have to run in 50-50 districts, like the district here in Colorado, Gabe Evans?
Yeah, Gabe Evans.
It doesn't get tighter than that. My gosh. Yeah. But pretty soon you do away with that. Where are the moderates? Where are the deal makers when there's a government shutdown? Where's the group of 8 who could sit down and say, okay, let's talk about this and actually get something done for the people? Jeff, they're going to be gone. Every seat is going to be safe Democrat or safe Republican. That's not good.
Yeah, I like the way Colorado set it up, obviously. I mean, if it was a red state with 4-4 Democrat Republican leadership, I might have a different idea because I want my side to win.
Of course.
But when you look at the setup around Colorado, let's just walk through it real quick. Number one is Denver, Diana DeGette. She's been there 30-plus years at this point. You get little pipsqueak progressives that kind of pop up that never do anything to really challenge her, right? So she just kind of plugs along. I can't tell you what Diana DeGette has delivered for the people of Colorado other than a reliable Democrat vote on important issues. So I don't know really how impactful she's been for our state, but she's been there 30-plus years. 2 is Joe Neguse, I believe, right? So you're looking at Boulder. Joe, I think, is he's a rising star, man. I think he could easily be, if Michael Bennett gets elected, Joe Neguse could become the next U.S.
And no matter
Senator.
what you think of him politically, he is just a very nice man.
Right.
Joe Neguse, I just speak very highly of, regardless of whether I agree with him politically, just a good person, I think.
It's funny because I don't feel the same way about Jason Crow.
You don't like Crow?
No, I disagree with both of them, but I'm like, oh, Joe seems like a nice guy. Jason, on the other hand, oh, gosh, Jason Crow. So that's 2. 3 is Jeff Hurd. So you're looking at the Western Plains. I feel like that map is drawn well. Like the western slope of Colorado reflects a pretty uniformed world. It's almost like kind of feels like a separate state sometimes over there. But, okay, so you got Hurd. 4 is Lauren Boebert, so we're jumping on the other side. Eastern Plains. They love her over on the Eastern Plains. She'll be fine there for a while. She represents that kind of culture well. 5 is Jeff Crank, Colorado Springs area. Military, and I think Jeff will do fine down there. And then 6 is Jason Crow. I'd love to see that district more competitive.
It used to be.
Well, it used to be Tom Tancredo's district.
Yeah, I mean, what a
Tommy the Tank.
What a flip that has been. Yeah.
So Crow doesn't seem all that competitive. I would like to see it more competitive. Brittany Pedersen needs to find a nanny. That shouldn't be that hard. That shouldn't be that hard.
Jeff.
They have health care in Congress. It sounds like a prop at this point.
Come on, man. I'm not going to touch that. I'm not touching that.
Oh, I will.
That's all you.
Oh, I 100% will. Ian and I, we've had our moments.
Yeah.
But Brittany Pedersen, gosh, I felt like she could have been a great conservative at one point, but we called her Heroin Barbie over here because of the heroin injection sites that she was promoting.
Heroin Barbie.
Yeah, safe injection sites.
Yeah.
You're not a fan of those.
No,
right?
I'm not.
Yeah.
I respect people who have the opinion because people are trying to do something about this crisis, which is addiction. I respect that. I think they have good intentions around it, but I don't agree with it.
It's totally stupid. All right, you and I are going to have those moments.
I'm more one of us is a
state-sponsored
needle. Can you guess
needle.
which one of us is a diplomat?
Yeah, right.
I think it's dangerous. I do. I say that as a drug, as a drug addict. I don't know of a single drug addict when you have to get high right now. Yeah. You're not going to wait until you get to the safe injection site. I don't know anyone who's going to do that.
Yeah. Very fair. Very fair. I'm with you on that one.
It's just common sense.
And then 8 is Gabe Evans. So we really only have one competitive district in Colorado. So I would like to see Jason Crow more competitive, but I think the MSNBC loves him. He's kind of the Justin Bieber of MSNBC.
He's got a great bio,
right now.
man. I mean, you got to respect where he comes from. I mean,
the military service,
and he's a sharp guy. And you may not like him, but he's a sharp, talented politician.
You know how many times he's been to the ICE detention facility?
Well,
he goes by like weekly, and he measures the temperature of the rice and beans and spaghetti that's served at the ICE detention facility. He never met with anyone that was actually being tortured by Tren de Aragua, but he swings by the ICE detention facility. Danielle Jurinsky was brilliant confronting one of her staffers one time. All right, so we have one competitive district in Colorado. Yeah. So is it good? You think it's set up well?
I think having an independent commission is better than handing it off to the partisans. The problem with that is that only works if every state does it that way. Like you can't be a Boy Scout when everyone else around you isn't doing the same thing. Yeah. That's the problem, right? There used to be a time in politics where you could lead by example. Those days are gone. And now it's like, I wouldn't be surprised at all if one of these days, the General Assembly here in Colorado tries to go back to the system where the people in power write the maps, right? Yeah. Because of the direction we're heading, and because we're so polarized, and because, everyone's just trying to get to 270, and everyone's just trying to get to the magic number in the House and the magic number of 51 in the Senate, right? And it's sad, Jeff. Like, what's the point in having? You got to have adults in the room. And we're already seeing what Congress looks like in a state of gridlock. Hello, we are 15 days into a government shutdown, right? Imagine what it's going to be when every single member in that building is in a safe seat. It's going to be awful discourse for the country.
So pull us back from the brink.
Yeah.
You classical liberal, Vic Vela. Pull us back from the brink. Yeah. Bring us back to those
Don't you think
American
it's a good
principles.
Thing when you are a Republican? You remember Mike Kaufman went to the center a lot when he was, because he had to, and if you're a member, if you have Democratic principles, maybe, but maybe go to the right a little bit on some of them too, because you're answering to your voters, right? The majority of this country, Jeff, are right down the middle, right? Yes, there are partisans, but the majority of people believe a little left, a little right. We talked about that earlier. At least I think that. I think it's a good thing when you try and say, you know what? I think this piece of policy from the left is good, and we're going to do it. And I think this piece of policy from the right is good too. What's wrong with that? And instead, we get into this. It's a non-starter if a Democrat sponsors it or a Republican sponsors it. When I was covering the Capitol, when Democrats had control of one chamber and Republicans had control of the other, necessarily legislation that came out of there had to be bipartisan. And overwhelmingly, like 90-some% of the legislation that came out of that building was bipartisan. Think about that. We always talk about these issues like you're in this corner and I'm in that corner. Mm-hmm. But when the truth is that when the doors are shut and the cameras are off, these guys actually can come together and work together when there's a system in place that makes that the case. Mm-hmm. Instead, we're going to have all the Bernie Sanders on one side and all the Lauren Boeberts on the other. Clowns to the left, jokers to the right.
So what do? You
either kill yourself or move out of the country. No, I think it's got to start with conversations, and it's got to start with convincing voters that everything is all about a groundswell of picking up the phone and calling this person, right? Telling your congressman that I don't like this. That stuff matters. Showing up at town halls and giving them hell for some of this stuff, right? Like, I mean, the problem is that the problem with voters trying to scream that this is wrong is they're putting a system in place, the powers that be, where they can just ignore the voters because they're going to be in safe seats anyway. So yeah, they're yelling at us during this town hall. Who cares? I'm going to be a congressman for life. Man, nobody wants that. I don't want a congressman for life. Do you?
No, definitely not. So here, I see the natural state of man to be tribal and chaotic. So if everything kind of broke down, right, we would separate out into little tribes, and we would just take and seize, right? Because who cares? What's going to stop you, right? Just go ahead and take and seize. This is why I think Christianity is so important to America. And as our culture becomes less Christian, it becomes more corrosive. Okay, so Christianity has important checks on mankind that are not natural. Right? Think about some of Jesus's claims to love your enemy.
10 Commandments.
Well, 10 Commandments would be Old Testament, right? And there's, do unto others what you would have them do unto yourself. Absolutely Judeo-Christian. But Christianity's grace that it requires its followers to do oftentimes puts us in positions where we're not happy. For instance, I have to love my enemy and pray for those that persecute you. If I'm a follower of Jesus, I have to do that is so anti core humanity of no, take what you want, harm those you disagree with, and win and have the power, right? Versus love your enemy, pray for those that persecute you, give to those that ask, those types of things. Those become important cultural checks that I think when secularists, and I'm not saying you're a secularist at all, but others will go, oh, we got to move away from Christianity in this culture. We're more enlightened in this culture. I go, no. You get away from those important Christian checks on humanity, and you'll find things get more corrosive, more divisive, more tribal, more violent as a result of it. Turn the other cheek, for instance. Those become important checks. So I want to see faith resurrected in our culture, right? Because I think it tempers down. People have more grace towards one another because you're commanded, if you're going to be a serious follower of Jesus, to do that stuff. So,
Jeff, as someone who's in recovery, I talk about my spirituality a lot, and it has kept me sober. It has kept me alive, and it keeps me adhering to principles that are meaningful to, I hope, to people around me and to myself. Look, I think I talk about this a lot. There's beautiful things in the Bible. There are beautiful teachings from Jesus Christ. I just think there are beautiful lessons to be learned from Christianity. The problem with modern day politics is that too many times we cherry pick which of Jesus's teachings we want.
100%.
Like when we vote in Congress to do away with protections for children, like free food for the poor. Isn't the poor exactly the kind of group that Jesus wanted to help and protect, right? And I think that it becomes this debate over, how Christian I am for some people, but we're doing things that fly in the face of Jesus's teachings. Is where I get frustrated as someone who is not. I have tremendous respect for Christian religion, but I think that you can be guided by those very teachings, and be consistent through it. Is all we're kind of looking for, is consistency.
Vic Vela live in studio with us. Great conversation. Bill and I often joke this is like when we get into the philosophical conversations you'd have at night, with your buddies in college. Vic Vela, 5-time Edward R. Murrow Award winner. Not 4, 5 times. He's live in studio. We're going to continue this conversation. We'll get to the phones and texts as well. Want to talk to you real quick about my good friend Dan Kaplis with Dan Kaplis Law. Look, if you've been injured and you need an attorney to represent you, Dan Kaplis is absolutely the one you want to go to. 40 years of his life in service to people who have been hurt in serious motor vehicle crashes. He's the son of a police officer and a former seminarian. He's got a sterling reputation because he puts getting justice for people the number one priority in his life. Dan is believed to be the only lawyer in Colorado history to win 5 straight multi-million-dollar verdicts in Colorado crash cases. Dan is also believed to have won the largest truck crash verdict in Colorado state history. Dan Kaplis is the official law firm partner of the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche. Dan Kaplis Law, a serious firm for serious cases. Dan accepts righteous injury cases on a percentage fee basis so that he can represent good people from all walks of life without regard to ability to pay. So if you need Dan's help, give him a call. 303-770-5551, 303-770-5551, or hit dankapleslaw.com. That's Dan, C-A-P-L-I-S law.com. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710, KNUS. Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. It's been a wild show. If you missed any of it, go to 710knus.com to download the podcast. Vic Vela, live in studio with us. Storied career in journalism, 10 years with Colorado Public Radio, covered the state capitol, can throw down on just about any issue. It's been a lot of fun.
I've had a hoot, man. This has been great.
We got you back up early and
well, that
back
part
into the
wasn't
radio.
fun, but this has been a blast. Yeah.
You saw that the reporters at the Pentagon turning in their badges. Oh my goodness, what a statement! What do you think?
Jeff, I have a lot to say here, and my first response is everything is stupid. Everything in the world is stupid right now. First of all, okay, the Pentagon should not be. When is the government going to learn? When you try and tell journalists what to write or what not to write, the exact opposite is going to happen. If you want them to tell good things about you, you let them talk and write about whatever the heck they want, okay? On the other hand, when will journalists, and I've been in newsrooms for 25 years, television, newspaper, public radio, been there, done that. When are journalists going to learn how unpopular they are? The one thing that people have in this country that a lot of people have in common, which is rare, both the left and the right despise journalists. So anytime I see journalists try and rally around something, I always chuckle. I'm like, good for you guys. You're probably right. And I probably agree with you. But you're not going to get any support from the public because the public hates you. Right?
Why do you think that is?
I think it's because for right or wrong, we have done a lot of things that have created distrust among the public, right? Listen, I can sit here, Jeff, and rattle off the names of dozens of reporters who I have tremendous respect for, and people who I would say, if you want to learn about what's going on in your community, read that person, right? I taught journalism at Metro State. I revere good journalism. Problem is, we don't always get good journalism, right? And when we turn on the TV and we see sensationalism, and when we see if it bleeds, it leads, and when we see people take things out of context and misquoting and writing hit pieces based on what unnamed sources, right? I was reading a story about how a lot of people were talking smack about a football player in the locker room, and they were all unnamed sources. It's like, I was always taught that if you're going to give a source anonymity, it's because maybe they're a whistleblower, maybe because coming out would hurt them, they're a sexual assault victim, right? You obviously want to protect certain sources. But a guy voicing an opinion about a sports dude is not a protected source, right? I think we've gone too far in some of these things. And I think that when the public sees that over and over again from so many news outlets, you can't blame them for not trusting. I mean, there is just inherent mistrust. And it's too bad because that has become a blanket description for all of journalism when there are really good journalists out there.
Yeah, and I've been intrigued by what Bari Weiss was able to build with the Free Press, and now is the editor-in-chief over at CBS.
That's right.
Right? And someone summed it up perfectly. She's just a journalist that doesn't hate conservatives. Right? Like, well, it got to the point, like, there's some news agencies here in Colorado that you could just tell the vitriol for conservatives just comes out. And you're like, oh, gosh, I can't, you're so agenda-driven, I can't even listen to you anymore. And it was nice because Bari Weiss is by no means some rock-ribbed, MAGA-supporting conservative.
Yeah.
She's a lesbian married to another lesbian woman.
Yeah.
She just doesn't happen to hate conservatives, which is kind of refreshing in media.
Yeah, I think, Jeff, first of all, the public would appreciate if people just came clean. Like, I come from public radio, and I think you go into any public radio station in the country, go to the top at NPR. If you polled every reporter, storyteller, host privately, they would tell you that they have liberal leanings. That would not be a shock to anyone. Certainly not a shock to the listeners, and certainly not a shock to the people who dislike what they hear from those stations, right? I think most people try and get it right. I think facts and factual reporting is more important than this whole both sides thing, right? Yeah. But I think that if we're going to want to rebuild that trust with the public, let's start by being honest. Like, hey guys, this newsroom that you're following on this particular radio station, by the way, many of these reporters are liberal, right? Just be honest about it. And I think people would actually appreciate that. Instead of this whole, I'm going to hide behind, this notion of objectivity, which is so stupid. Report the facts and be fair about it. Period. That's what you can do to impress people. And I think that there's still a lot of that going on. I want to be very clear that while I'm very critical of a lot of the state of journalism and the lack of self-awareness around it, there are very good ones out there who I still support and who deserve your support.
Way to go.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I don't want to say anything else.
I won't be running the press club anytime soon. So, yeah.
It's been great to see you back in the saddle. Thank you for joining us today on the Jeff and Bill Show. If you missed any of it, go to 710knus.com. That's Vic Vela. Vic, 5-time Edward R. Murrow Award winner, 10 years with Colorado Public Radio, covered the Capitol, sitting in to co-host with me today. And we've got about 20 more seconds. Tell us about the event you're hosting.
Longmont, November 11th, Veterans Day. I'll be talking to veterans in recovery from addiction. They'll be sharing their powerful stories at the Moose Lodge in Longmont, 7 p.m. Veterans Day evening. I hope to see you there. Come and support veterans.
And the website?
My website, thebfbf.org.
thebfbf.org. You can follow Vic at VicVela1 on X. Very active there as well. You've had a wild background, but
yeah.
I'm just sitting here reading your bio again on there. I survived cocaine addiction. First line.
And the Chicago Cubs.
That's right. Thank you again, Vic. You were wonderful today. Sure appreciate
I love it,
it.
Jeff.
Friends, again, go to 710KNUS to download the podcast. Tomorrow, CityCast is joining us. Paul and Bree are going to be live in studio. Bree's an actual witch. I didn't know that last time. She told me that. I was like, "You're a witch? Are you like which one?" Because the only ones I know are like the evil ones and then good ones and the Wizard of Oz. We'll find out tomorrow. You're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS.